everybody, it is Tuesday and it's time for Let's Talk Mortgage. I am missing my partner today because he is currently busy in school and got lots of math stuff to practice with, so he is off doing bigger and better things. But that being said, one of the things that we did talk about last week with Jacob was budgeting. And when it comes to budgeting, I figured, you know what, this is a great opportunity on episode 10 to do some 11 steps for change in your budget and your fiscal financial responsibility, if you will, for 2022. It is February 1st and it is never too late to start this kind of stuff. So here we go. Step number one is to find little ways to save money. It is the little things in life that add up to big things and can make or break you. Because it does all add up. Just like when you're trying to lose weight, you're not just going to lose, unfortunately, 20 pounds overnight. But what you can do is little baby steps to then get to your big goal. And so it's the same exact thing with budgeting. So first things first is things like subscriptions, buying a Brita water filter instead of the bottled waters. You know, you can save yourself $15 to $20 a week if you buy a lot of bottled water that way. Because after all, water, when you put it in a bottle, is $9.60 a gallon roughly, versus a gallon of gas in Texas is about $2.65 to $3 a gallon. You're actually paying more money for your water than you are for your fuel. And of course, most of the time it's just out of a spring. So anyway, eat in more, eat out less. That's another great one. Very, very good one, actually. This last weekend, we were in Mansfield, Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and a very good couple friends of mine asked me, Erica, can you help us with some budgeting things? Because we want to start a business. And so we were just kind of talking for about 5 minutes about where they spend their money. And within 5 to 10 minutes, we had already determined that they spend about $2,000 a month on food and eating out. That's what I mean by food, like literally just their eating out budget. And so we were like, look, if you just cut that back, maybe eat out just twice a week, rather than 7 days a week or 6 days a week, you would save an amazing amount of money and be able to achieve that goal of being a business owner faster and sooner. So that's just an example of how you can get there really quickly if you just do some cutbacks. And the cool thing about that is it's not like you're suffering. It's just you're going to do something different. It's not that you're not eating. It's just that you're going to be using the crock pot more, or the pressure cooker more, or just enjoying an evening home and cooking with the kids more, those kinds of things. Step 2 is to keep your emergency fund funded. It can be fun. Anyway, but keep it funded. Dave Ramsey talks about a $1,000 emergency fund, and it's really important to have that. But more importantly, if you use it for some reason, to replenish it. So if you have something happen with your car and you have to spend $500 out of your emergency fund, you need to be able to then very soon replenish that emergency fund so that it's there for the next emergency, because unfortunately life happens. So, you know, one of the ways that Dave describes this particular thing is it's an umbrella and it is peace of mind. So it is just an umbrella, because when it rains, it pours. So now step 3 is don't go crypto nuts. It's okay to dabble in crypto, but it's really important to understand you don't want to have all of your savings in crypto. You don't want to have all of your retirement, landing on the crypto scene. Crypto is very volatile, as lots of people have figured that out recently. Slow and steady is the way to go when it comes to retirement. Slow and steady wins the race, right? That's the thing we've always heard since we were little. Know what you're investing in. Do your research. More importantly, do not have significant monies invested without having your other emergency fund, your regular savings, your retirement funds, and your college funds all being funded, okay? Not funded, just being funded. So you're actually putting money into those accounts. Step 4 is if you want to become debt-free and you don't have the household funds to do that because you just don't have enough liquid cash flow every month, is to get a side hustle, get a second part-time job. There's a lot of companies out there right now that need part-timers. There's a lot of them that need full-timers too. But if you find a company and you like what they do, you could just work a couple of days a week or a couple of evenings a week and get some good extra pay. And they're paying pretty well. So, they need you. So why not take advantage of it, get debt-free really fast and kind of get that out of the way. Step 5 is do not rely on the government to get you out of debt. I say this related to student loans. Student loans, I can just tell you how many student loans I see on people's credit reports on every given day, and it is an enormous amount of debt. And no one has ever gotten rich from the federal government. No one has ever been given significant handouts from the federal government. And so you got yourself into this mess. You're going to have to get yourself out of this mess. You owe the money, so place your future in your own hands and be responsible. There's just one of those things that I keep hearing people say, the government's going to come in and forgive my student loan debt. I just don't see how that's possible, quite frankly. I know that it was a campaign promise, and I don't care what political party you're affiliated with of the three that there are, but please understand that the money has to come from somewhere, and it's highly unlikely that the government is going to take you out of your student loan debt, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's your debt. You put yourself in there. Get it taken care of. Get a side hustle to take care of it if you need to. Step 6 is don't fall for the Afterpay program. That's like an installment plan. It is a huge scam. They make tons and tons of money off of you in interest. It's like a payday lender who charges, 840% interest rate on a $50 loan. Avoid the Afterpay programs. If you can afford it now, you can pay cash for it. If you can't afford it now, save up a little bit of money so that you can afford it. And just avoid those Afterpay programs because they're so incredibly expensive. I don't want to buy a hoodie for $50 and end up paying $240 for it. Step 7 is to talk to your spouse about money and get on the same page, or partner or whatever. It's really, really important to not hide things, okay? I cannot stress this enough. I used to have a friend that would hide Amazon deliveries. Don't hide the Target bag. Talk about where your money is going. Talk about where your money is going to be spent and saved at. Set spending limits for each other. I know that sounds really controlling, but I promise you it's not. It's because you're trying to keep your budget in check. And so if you have one of the people in the relationship that's the big time spender and the other one is the big time saver, there's going to be some clashing going on because you've got one person who has no problem spending $500 while the other person wants to save $500 or $400. So set spending limits before you actually need to discuss the purchase with each other. $250, $500, whatever that is in your budget, to where if you are going to be exceeding that on a trip to the store, that you talk about it first, because it may not be in the budget, or you may have to, take from another category, so to speak. Step 8 is to get on a budget. It will change your life. It is very, very freeing, guys. It is not constricting. It is just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B. And if you cannot move from point A to point B, then you're not going to get to financial freedom. People of all incomes need to have a budget. Whether you make, $24,000 a year or $240,000 a year, it's your roadmap. It is your roadmap or your navigation system to your destination, whatever that destination may be. It could be a vacation that you want to take that you're saving up for. That's your destination. That's your end goal, right? Mine currently right now is I'm trying to invest as much as I can into savings for retirement and my kids' college funds. That's my number 1 and number 2 priority, is to make sure that they and I are taken care of as we get a little bit older. So the budget is just your roadmap or your navigation system to find out where you're going and how to get there. Every dollar is important. And so there's step 11 is going to be kind of going back to this. So we'll skip over, we're going to go to 9. And step 9 is, who cares about what the Joneses have? We don't need to be keeping up with the Joneses, guys. There is a lot of anxiety and a lot of emotional reaction that sometimes we have when we start comparing ourselves to our neighbors. I don't care what my neighbor drives. More power to you if you drive a Tesla. I'm jealous a little bit, not gonna lie, because I love Tesla. But it's what they can afford at that time. And they may be, leveraging themselves to the hilt with car loans. They may not. They may pay a cash, whatever. It doesn't matter what your neighbor has. All that matters is you have what you have, you're budgeting the way you're budgeting, and you have a goal in mind for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So stop comparing yourself to others, put the little blinders on, focus on what you're doing and focus on yourself. And then you're going to be so much more content, and you're going to love your life way more because you don't have that stress and anxiety about what other people have. Okay. Step 10 is live on less than you make. Obviously, that is really difficult for some people. And again, being in the financial industry that I have been for so long, I can see it every single day, how I often wonder, if there's somebody that I can't get qualified for a mortgage, I often wonder, how the heck are they doing it? If you can only afford $50,000 in a mortgage, for example, how are you doing it paying $1,100 in rent? And what are you having to avoid in order to make your rent payment? And it's possible you're not even able to pay your bills on time. And so you want to make sure that you live on less than you make. And getting back to the other step where it talked about a second job or a side hustle, maybe you have to do that to get out of debt. But you don't want to live to where you have to go and borrow money from payday lenders to be able to make ends meet. That means that somewhere within your budget is awry, or maybe you need that side hustle to get everything under control and back on track. And it's okay to have that second job. I've had 2 jobs at once, and yeah, my life was crazy, kind of fun at the same time, but it enabled me to be able to get some stuff taken care of that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And then step 11 is control your goals. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that. We have talked about this before. One of them I happen to love, 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 love. It's called a Kakeibo. This is Japanese. This is a budgeting tool on paper. So you can go through, you can write your expenses down. There's basically a whole year in this budgeting book. It's not very big, as you can tell, it's very small, but it is an entire year of talking about things from your expenses, your income, what are your goals to save that month. It is a fantastic tool to be able to enable you to write everything down for those people who like to have the written word, so to speak, when it comes to their budget. Every single time you go and you spend money, it has to go on your expenses category. It has to be written down. And the reason is because you have to be able to balance everything out and figure out where your money went. Remember, one of the keys to budgeting is to know where your money goes, right? And then you can try to become better the next month and try to cut back where you don't need money to be spent. And so this is the way you do it. Something like a Kakeibo. I got this off of Amazon for $5. It's cute. It's very thin. It actually slips in my purse. I'm actually getting ready to start this today on February 1st. I figured what a great time to get started on the 1st of the month. And basically you just fill everything out and then you start tracking. It's kind of like a time tracker. The second is an option, which is really cool, which is called EveryDollar. And this is actually what the app looks like, called EveryDollar. And it is an app that Dave Ramsey put out. And it also comes with a money plan as well. But I really like the app because it automatically links to your bank account. It sees where all your money gets spent. It allows you to categorize things just like the Kakeibo does, but in an app format. So if you like the electronic tech stuff, EveryDollar is for you. If you like paper, Kakeibo is for you. And so I just hope that these tips have given you some ways to save money into 2022 and beyond, and just kind of change that mindset a little bit to where you're more of a saver rather than that instant gratification spender. And we kind of just dial it down a little bit to put a little bit more money into your savings account. That being said, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.